Breaking news for the UFC world right now. Everyone is on their toes, and this is on everyone's mind right now. Jon Jones is out at UFC 295 with a torn pectoral tendon that will require surgery and keep him out 8 months, Dana White announced. Stipe Miocic will come off the card as well. Yuri Prohaska and Alex Pereira will be the new main event. Dude, what's up with these UFC main events? You got these stacked cards all lined up. Charles Oliveira taking on Islam Makhachev for the second time. Nope, fight week, gets cut in the eye, he's out. Then you got Jon Jones, less than 3 weeks from the fight. Boom, out. I don't understand.
This was sad. This was, I hate seeing fighters pull out. Not because I want them to keep pushing through their injuries, because I believe Charles Oliveira should have pulled out. That was the best thing for him. Jon Jones obviously cannot fight with a torn pec. I get that. But this one pains me, bro, because I believe Jon Jones wanted to prove something this fight.
No, he did.
For the entire career of Stipe Miocic, through wins and through loss, he has been the greatest heavyweight of all time. And the biggest thing with Jon Jones is he wants to come for legacy. It's not about the wins. It's not about the losses. It's not about the money, the fame, or the belts. It's for legacy. And I think a lot of people have been questioning his legacy, but he knew that this was his time to put a stamp on his mark in the UFC by beating the greatest heavyweight of all time in Stipe Miocic.
No,
that's what's sad.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. You look back at UFC 285, whenever Jon Jones beat Sergey, he said it in the post-fight interview. I want Stipe Miocic. I believe he is the greatest heavyweight fighter. And that says something about Jon Jones. I love Jon Jones. He is so cool. He's literally so cool. And he's just a bad mother effer. But Stipe, man, this fight was going to be so good. It was going to literally solidify Jon Jones's legacy. And it was going to solidify with Stipe Miocic's legacy. But I got to give credit to Dana White. Dana White is so good at what he does. The ability to, boom, make an interim fight. Tom Aspinall fighting Sergei Pavlovich. Just like that.
Just like that. And that's 2 cards in a row. On 10 days' notice, he made 2 insane fights last week in Abu Dhabi. And I think he's the greatest at what it does. But back to the fight, I feel for Stipe as well, because he's been out for 3 years. For the entirety of 3 years, he has to keep replaying being knocked out by Francis Ngannou, being knocked out by someone that you already beat, that you already know that you could beat. And I was super curious for this fight, because was it going to be a refreshed Stipe? Because he's been nowhere in the media, literally until March when he went to the Jon Jones fight. He hasn't been at fights. He hasn't been doing media. He's just been a firefighter, at-home dad, a normal person. So I was really curious to see how refreshed was Stipe going to be. Was he going to be different? Was there a different side of him, a more hungry side of him to go after Jon Jones? And I think this was going to be an amazing fight. I think it was going to be a really big test for Jon Jones. And I think from the last fight with Cyril Gane, there was something to prove in this fight. Prove that he could strike. Prove that he could move quicker than a lot of these heavyweights. Prove that he could take down these 265-pound specimens and just dominate. Because this fight against Cyril Gane, what was it? A minute?
Yeah,
a minute and a half?
Something like that, yeah.
Too easy. So I feel for both guys. But man, do we have a new co-main event. Tom Aspinall versus Sergei Pavlovich.
I'm telling you.
Give me a quick prediction rolling this.
Tom Aspinall all the way.
Tom Aspinall all the way.
That dude is so good. He's overall really good. He hasn't had a fight that's went past the second round. He hasn't. So there's something to be said right there. He's finished 8 out of the 9 last guys he has fought. He is so good. But Sergei Pavlovich is so good too. But I feel like Tom Aspinall is going to have a wrestling game plan going into this fight. I don't think he's going to want to stand up with Sergey. I think Sergey has Dude, they both have the power advantage over each other.
Mm-hmm.
One guy can go down at any moment.
I think this is a very big fight for Tom Aspinall.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
you're talking about coming off of big knee surgery. He did have one fight, but he was going to fight Curtis Blades, and Sergei Pavlovich has knocked out Curtis Blades. So that would have been an interesting fight to see that what kind of happened in. But this is a big fight for Tom Aspinall. He's taking no chances in this fight. He will wrestle you. He will try to submit you. He does not need to prove anything in this fight. And if I think he goes out there and just starts to trade with Sergey, he's going to get knocked out because Sergey has knocked out Derek Lewis. He's knocked out Tai Tuivasa. He flattened Curtis Blades.
Yeah.
This dude hits like a truck. So I'm super excited to see this fight. We'll be in person for it.
We will be in person. Woo. Diego Lopez is
And
on
Diego
that card
Lopez.
too. Go check out Diego Lopez on the main card against Pat Sabatini.
Yes, but it's a shame.
Yeah,
It's a shame that this has happened, but this is the game. This is the fight game. Hopefully, like they're saying, 2024, this fight will happen. And I'm happy Stipe kind of pulled out too, because now you really can solidify that matchup still. If Stipe would have filled in and fought Sergey for the interim, maybe he loses. We never see this fight.
So hold on, one thing before we get out of here. I wonder what the UFC does next. Is the winner of this interim belt not going to fight for over a year and a half?
Yeah, that's a big question too, because you're talking about 8 months of recovery, and then he's got to get back in shape.
Yeah.
He's got to get back into fighting shape. He's got his cardio back up. He's got to freaking program his entire shoulder and pec to even throw a punch and extend. This isn't going to be 8 or 9 months till he's in the octagon. This is 8 or 9 months till he's probably cleared to do any type of MMA exercises. So that's a very good question. What does the UFC do? Do they make this fight for the belt? Or do you just have a bunch of interim fights? We'll see.
We'll find out.
This is the Burn Factor.